Welcome to the BRRRR. It's episode 4. I'm Finance King.
I'm JFL Lee.
And we got a banger for you this week. This episode, we're going to talk about what the FOMC did last week. We're going to get into TikTok's testimony. We're going to go over our latest breadwinner. And then we're going to go over entrepreneurship versus a scammer, right? We're going to get over, Big Lee is going to talk about
the BRRRR strategy.
We're going to talk about the BRRRR strategy.
How to count some bread.
We're going to get into relationships and finance. And of course, we always talk about the future in finance. And this week, we're going to talk about what's happening with our Social Security.
And I got some daily bread fresh out the oven for you guys. I can't wait to share it.
So stay tuned. Don't move.
This is the BRRRR.
This is the BRRRR.
We're finance guys in different spaces, but we live a life. So like I came up with this name, right? Because everybody got podcasts, but
I don't want to call this a podcast.
But that's why we're not gonna call it a podcast.
Okay.
We're just gonna call it the BRRRR.
The BRRRR.
Yeah.
All right. So explain.
All right. So how everybody has their brand of bread that they buy.
Yeah.
But in order to get that brand of bread, you have to walk down the aisle.
Right.
Right. So you walk down the bread aisle, it's something for everyone. And that's what this is. But we're also going to, triple entendre, don't even ask me how, right? What do we call money?
Money is bread.
All right. What does God give us every day when he gives us instructions?
We get our daily bread. Okay.
Welcome to the bread aisle.
Okay.
What's up, Chef King?
What's going on, Lee?
How you feeling this week, man?
Man, this week was a good week. It was a lot going on.
We consider this a quiet week considering the last couple of weeks we've been...
Who? Real estate?
Oh no, it's been super quiet in real estate.
Oh yeah. We it's always something over here. It's always something when it comes to the stock market.
What's up with the stock market, bro? Please, what's going on, yo?
All right, so let's get into our mini market segment. So
all right.
Last week, the FOMC and Jerome Powell stated that they were going to do a 0.25 basis hike, which basically means, if you don't know, 0.25%, they're going to increase the interest rate.
How you feel about that? Some
say that is needed. Some say that it's not needed. Some say that it was, he's beating a dead horse.
Is he now?
So I heard a pretty interesting take that was basically said the reason why he raised it is because they don't know what they're doing. And
who's they?
The FOMC.
You don't think the Fed? I think the Fed knows exactly what they should do.
So this is the reason. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. If they didn't do anything,
inflation goes out of control.
Inflation goes out of control. If they did something, more banks hurt. So 0.25 was already priced in.
You think it's the lesser of two evils?
Yeah, I think he decided to go with 0.25 because it was already priced into the market. 80% of the market already expected a 0.25 rate hike. So I think that's what he went with. Just because he had to do something, he could not do 0%.
I just feel like there's only two ways to get inflation down, right?
Yeah.
The government has to stop spending, which we're not going to do because we're supporting a situation.
Right.
Or raising interest rates, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so unless Congress, that's a political situation, I don't really do the political conversation. So unless Congress stops spending money, the Fed really has no other option.
Well, speaking of Congress, but Senator Janet Yellen.
I don't like her. I don't like Janet Yellen.
So I think what's important to know about Senator Janet Yellen is that she was on the Finance Committee.
And she was a chairman of the Fed too.
Yeah, so she knows exactly what she's talking about. Like her or not, she knows exactly what she's talking about. So
that's fair.
After the rate hike, the announcement, he gives a speech. In the speech, he says whatever he wants. But then after the speech, there's a question and answering conversation. And the question was asked about the banking situation. And Jerome Powell literally says all deposits are covered.
We have the tools to protect depositors when there's a threat of serious harm to the economy or to the financial system, and we're prepared to use those tools. And I think depositors should assume that their deposits are safe.
Janet Yellen tweets immediately, No, it's not. That's a lie.
So who's a liar?
Well, judging what happened to the stock market, I would say Jerome
That's my
Powell
boy.
lied through his teeth.
But if all right, so then that makes a very bad situation worse.
Bad for who?
The people.
The banks?
No, I don't care. I never care about the banks.
I don't think it makes a. I mean, yeah, because it can induce more bank runs.
That's what I'm saying. And then people are going to start trying to go get their money, and there's no money available.
And that's why some say he doesn't know what he's doing. You walk right into that.
I did walk into that. But I feel like he's what is he supposed to do? Because look, he raises rates. This is what I mean when I say like it's weird. It's like unprecedented time. He raises rates, but interest rates drop.
Yeah.
And that was triggered by rates jumping, which means mortgage-backed securities jumped, which means they were comfortable with dropping the rate a little bit. I mean, they didn't drop a lot, but
clarify which rates jump.
So he raises the Fed rate, right?
Yeah.
That's the Fed overnight rate. That's the money that the banks get,
Right.
And then that's the money banks lend to each other.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So then mortgage rates take a dip, slight dip, not a big dip, but just there's downward movement. And we talked about this last week. Downward movement when you're trying to battle inflation is not good. So it's like the real victim in all of this is the American people, right? Because look, I always say this: people make money in any market. Those who know how to make money in the market make money in the market. They make money on the up. They make money on the down. So the people who really get hurt by these types of carelessness in the financial sector is the everyday person, right? It's not really like, yeah, a bank might fail, but as we can see, SVP's, what was he, the CAO, CIO?
Yeah.
He was on the Lehman board. He got another job.
Yeah.
He got another opportunity to make a bank fail. How many people
get two
opportunities? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just, I feel bad. Like that. I think that's why, I mean, not to get on my soapbox or anything, but I think that's kind of why we started this thing right here, because it's like these conversations are happening and we're missing them.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and that takes me to the next thing is like, did you see what's the ByteDance? What's the CEO of the company that owns TikTok?
Yep. So we actually watched You
watched the whole testimony?
Not the whole thing, but we watched probably like 3 hours of the testimony. They grilled him bad. Grilled him bad. I almost felt sorry.
Oh no, I didn't feel bad for him.
Like,
he's an op.
But you had to know, coming into a foreign country, sitting in front of 50 Congress people, like, you up there dolo.
I respect the courage, but come on, man.
So give me your take on it. What you think about it?
I was never like the biggest fan of TikTok, right? Just because it was a foreign like entity that took our data. Yeah. And we talked about this on the first episode. Data is gold today. So,
but they're not just taking any type of data.
Bro, they're taking our personal data.
They're taking everything.
Everything. If you have TikTok, I don't even have TikTok on my phone.
I deleted it.
So if you have TikTok on your phone, they have access to.
They not only have access to your phone, they have access to any device that is in your network. So if we both have Apple people, you got a MacBook, I got an iPad. If we put TikTok on a phone, they get access to your MacBook. They get access to my iPad.
I'm not with that.
Yeah, the cameras, the audio.
The unfortunate thing is, it's the people that it's going to affect the content creator community drastically. And a lot of these American companies are using TikTok as a marketing tool.
Yes, they are.
And so it's like, how does that affect the content creator industry, right? How does that affect advertising? Are we going back to TV ads or? So
one of the things that, as an entrepreneur, one of the things that I will say is you should never be relying on that one platform.
I agree.
Now, as a chef, of course, I made a lot of my money off of Instagram.
And when they switched the algo on you,
Did I lose? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it affected me because I got the Instagram late.
okay.
So I'm not really sure. But what I do know is I always had the wherewithal to get on Instagram, get the people, but then bring them to my own platform. Even when we started the restaurants, we used Grubhub and DoorDash, and it was like, that's going to be the platform to get them. But I have to find a way to get their own data. So we put in programs and loyalty programs and stuff like that to get the data so that we don't have to go back and pay DoorDash and
to market you.
To market.
Yeah.
I can go straight to the consumer.
That's the Ryan Leslie play.
Yeah. And so one of these, the biggest thing that I think people should be doing, if they're not entrepreneurs, if they're big on TikTok or Instagram or anywhere else, if you're not building up a email list or a phone contact list or something where you can target these people directly and not through social media, you'll always be at the hand of the person who feeds you.
Right? I agree with that.
Yeah, do I feel sorry for him? Yes. Is it going to hurt? Yeah, but not really. Like, there's always going to be another social media. There's always going to be another opportunity to make business.
Man. I miss like the MySpace days. Like things were just simple. We were learning how to code.
I wish I knew what I knew now with MySpace.
Oh my God! Can you imagine what MySpace would be in today's?
What?
MySpace would really be the best.
What?
Because it was like WordPress, right?
It was. Soulja Boy really came up off of MySpace.
Yeah.
Mike Jones.
Mike Jones is a direct to consumer marketing
genius.
Yo, that
genius.
Saying your number on the record, text me, call me.
Yeah.
You ever call the number?
Did I ever call the number? Come on.
I know the number to this day.
Come on. 8004.
Hey, Mike Jones, I'm on the low.
I don't know who did the play first, if it was Soulja Boy or Mike Jones, but Kiss Me Through the Phone, Soulja Boy said a number as well. And Soulja Boy's number was tied to like a advertising platform. It wasn't really his number.
Soulja Boy is really certified.
Yeah. So the more people he put on that list, the advertising company paid him more.
Oh wow.
So he made a lot of money off of that.
I just feel like TikTok, I think we jumped on it blindly as a country, right?
Yeah.
Just jumped into
it. A wave.
And then we never really took the time to think, what is this? Right? And now it might actually be too late. They might have got everything that they need.
I think it's too late, to be honest. And if we want to go down this political conversation path,
I don't.
I think it's too late. And the reason why I think it's too late is because even if they kick TikTok out of the country,
they already have the data.
They have enough data to develop patterns.
Yeah, they already have the data
to see everything.
Do you think social media is dead?
Hell nah. Social media is where the money is at. Do kids still go out and play? No. Social media.
But if they ban TikTok,
there will be a new social media to take its place.
Whoever catches that.
YouTube Shorts.
Think YouTube gets it?
YouTube is the fastest growing social piece right now.
Okay.
And don't let them come up with something else. Who knows?
I'm curious. I'm curious to see what they're going to do. I'm not to get too political, but I'm definitely down for X and TikTok. Like I don't think it's good for us. Yeah. I did like Fanbase though.
Yeah, Fanbase. Oh, I'm glad you do that. First of all, Fanbase is black owned.
Black owned. Isaac Hayes. Yeah, Isaac Hayes.
Yeah, Isaac Hayes created Fanbase. I do like Fanbase. There's no algorithm on there. He takes pride in that. I just it isn't as fluid yet.
It's still it's
a baby.
Now that I think about it, Black people built social media,
except for Facebook. But yeah, Facebook was Ivy League, and it popped.
You're right. You're right.
And if you remember, you had to have a college email.
Oh, it was the first
and
thing
we
I
was
did.
in high school.
First thing I
well,
did
we
when
knew
I got my mortgage
anybody.
email.
We knew any. You didn't get. I got one in high school.
You took somebody's.
I figured out how to get a Delaware Tech Community College.
Oh man, I remember sitting in Kitty's house
trying to figure out,
watching them create Facebooks, and I'm like, "What is this?" I'm still MySpace in it, right? And they like, "This Facebook, you got me in college." So here I am.
Facebook was lit back then.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh man, wow, you took it back. But I remember like these companies. I just remember like at the speed of which things are happening now, or it's just like it's absurd almost. Things don't get a chance to really develop anymore. Like it comes, it goes viral, it gets white hot, and then it disappears. Like Clubhouse.
Clubhouse was it. Clubhouse was it during the pandemic.
So like you look at like Instagram when it was before Facebook bought it. It was about pictures and sharing, and it didn't become the newspaper. And Facebook went from being Instagram went from being a photo album to the newspaper to the classifieds.
Well, you know what that was? Is Zuck be zucking. You got to keep up with. You got to keep up
with Google. That's really what it is. You got to keep up with Google.
Yeah, man.
But nevertheless, I mean, look.
We get that. That's a yeah.
I could go down. I could talk about the social media thing for days. I hear you got you texted me earlier this week talking about, I got a certified bread stacker this week.
A certified bread stacker. I'm so happy.
I want to hear what made you say this person.
I'm so happy to talk about the newest certified bread stacker. Can we put a round of applause together for my man Shady McCoy?
Let's clap it up for Shady.
Clap it up for Shady. LaShawn McCoy of the Philadelphia Eagles. For the record, I do think between you and D-Jack, you are the most beloved Eagle. That's just for the record. But let's talk about what you do off the field nowadays and why you are the most certified bread stacker of this week. Not only did you do one deal in a week, but 2 deals you did for apartment projects. One of them in his beloved neighborhood where he talks about the lots that he used to play in or walk around in his neighborhood when he was growing up. He had the opportunity through his company, Vice Capital, to buy these lots, and now he's building an affordable housing projects, 41 units. And then he announces later in the week that he's going to do another project, which is 50 units. So in the span of 1 week, he announced 91 unit, 2 projects. Man, let's give it up for Shady McCoy.
I'm going to throw something else on top of that. Shout out to my guy, Lamont. Shady's one of his investors. My guy Lamont is starting a video football game to compete with Madden.
Is it virtual?
It's virtual, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And Shady's his title investor, Shady and David Tyree.
Hey Shady, man, listen, big Eagles fan, finance team is a big Eagles fan, lifer, right? But we would love to have you on the show.
Absolutely.
Kick it, talk finance, and talk about how you maneuver through these plays, talk about how you put together Vice Capital and different things like that. So I just wanted to say that, and big ups for being the bread stacker of the week.
Shouts out to Shady McCoy.
Yes, sir.
The irony about you picking this topic, we hadn't even talked yet, but I was talking to my little brother, right?
Yeah.
And we were just talking about, we talk about little brothers,
yeah. Beloved.
But I was talking about little brother. He was talking about how these multi-level marketing joints be coming and going, right? And so then when when we had our production meeting, he was like, yeah, entrepreneurship versus the scammer. And I was like, oh, that's a great topic, right? How do you
ended up writing it?
And then you ended up writing it. And I was like, oh,
look at the universe.
Look at the universe, right? But this is an important topic.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
So when I was thinking about it, I wasn't thinking about it from that perspective, but I do love that perspective. We can dive into that as well. But I had a totally different perspective. And my perspective was an entrepreneur who may think that they're legit or, have a product or a service, but is really scamming and they don't know it.
Oh.
So that's what I would talk
Wow.
about. Yeah. So whichever one you want to go first, we could do that. I love to get into both conversations, so let's do it.
I'm gonna throw one more in there.
Okay.
What about when you pay for the instruction?
Oh man. Oh man. Oh man.
And
Not again.
and it ain't that. Like you done spent that money up front and you made the investment in yourself and it's wrong, right? So we can go through
all three?
the whole thread, right?
Okay.
So let's start with this entrepreneurship versus scammer thing. I'm sensitive to that though.
Why?
Because nobody taught us.
Yeah.
Right? So we had to go through that pain, them pain points, right? But if somebody would have called us a scammer in those moments, we would have been highly offended.
Well, that's the clickbait of the word. So
no, I get it, but
yeah, so if you're an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. Well, I was an entrepreneur.
You are an entrepreneur.
Still an entrepreneur at heart. So I'll use myself as an example. I won't talk about anybody else. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a chef, right? I own a catering company. The reason why I say entrepreneurship versus scamming has to do with money management. So if I have a catering company and I get an event and that event, pays me whatever, I'm supposed to take the money. First of all, it's important to charge what the company expenses, not just what you're worth. So real companies don't charge what the owner's worth. They charge for company expenses and costs and stuff like that. So let's start there. That's the first thing. If you're not doing that, you're operating wrong. Secondly, what you do with that money once you get it, you're supposed to take care of the things, the expenses that come with that event, or also take portions out or percentages out and put it, wherever the designated places are. What a lot of people do, and I have done myself, so that's why I can speak on it, but I realize that it's not wrong and it's a Ponzi scheme. What you do, or what I have done, is that they pay me that money and I use that money for something
that didn't have to do
with that event.
But do you get the event off?
Here's the thing. Now I need to get another event to pay for this event.
I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
Is that scamming or is that poor management?
It's a Ponzi scheme.
Is it scamming or is it poor management?
It's a Ponzi scheme.
Because I feel like when you say Ponzi scheme, if your intention isn't to defraud anyone, you're not running a Ponzi scheme.
You're not, but not all Ponzi schemes start out with bad intentions.
True.
Just like the CEO who runs a fund and has legitimate intentions of growing a fund, and then his mother gets cancer. And now he has to pay expenses. So maybe he either pulls from the fund or maybe he raises funds and say, I can put it back.
But if he makes a play that replenishes all that, did he run this Ponzi scheme? I'm just playing advocate right now.
Because one, it's still illegal either way you go.
I agree.
On that level, if we want to talk business regarding small business fund, whatever, if you want to just on flat level, it's embezzlement. What I used to do was embezzlement.
Oh yes,
I'm taking the money.
100%
I'm not using it for a business. I'm using it for myself in some other capacity. That's embezzlement.
Yes.
And in order to replace that expense, I either come out of pocket, which is another form of embezzlement, putting funds into a company secretly. That's another form of embezzlement. Or I have to get another event that could pay for, hopefully that event pays for the cost of this event and the event is supposed to pay for. Because if not, now I have to get another event.
Now you have two events
to pay for.
Oh, it's
and
a slippery
that's
slope.
why I believe
I agree.
You're going down a Ponzi scheme road. So
how do you avoid it?
You do the right thing, man.
But that's easier. That's easier said than done, bro.
It is.
You and I
We've
know
been
that.
there. I've been there.
You and I know that it's
I've
easier
been
said than
there.
done.
But when you're in that position and when you go back and look at what you use the money for, you always say, well, I always say,
I shouldn't have done that.
I didn't need to do it. Like, I didn't need to do it.
Yes, I agree
Now,
with you.
maybe I'm in a worse situation because now I have to find someone. I have to find money to do this, or I'm coming out of pocket off money that I may really, really need at the point.
Legitimately.
And now I have to give it up because I got to cover my responsibilities. Whereas if you would have did this event, my bad. If I would have did this event, dealt with the consequences over here, at least the business wouldn't have been affected at all.
I agree.
So that's why I think it's just a slippery slope going down a Ponzi scheme. And I use these words specifically because I know that they're trigger words for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, because if you accuse me
and black entrepreneurs, because scammers.
Yeah, so, that's
but it's what you're doing. So let's be honest.
I don't disagree with your premise. Actually, I don't disagree with anything that you're saying. But how does an entrepreneur outside of do the right thing, like in action, how do you avoid getting on going down that path?
So it's glad you asked. There's multiple ways you can go. You can set your company up so that the structure on paper, it's known that you are funding your company, right? So now it's not embezzlement. So you're funding your company, and when it's time, your company will pay you back. You can do that.
Yes, you can.
You can raise capital so that you don't
need to
do anything like this. Yeah. I think those are the only two ways. Or you just do what you do.
I have the
right thing and not involve your personal stuff.
I think, but again, when you're if you're a sole prop, right? That's hard to not involve your.
Well, sole props are a little different in this scenario.
Yeah, I'm just there's scenarios where
you're not really you're a company, but you're acknowledging that you work to make money.
This is a great conversation for Mo. We should do
a tax topic on this.
Yeah, we should do it.
I think we should.
Yeah, it's a great combo for Mo.
Yeah, I think we should.
Because I think that is more about documentation and organization than anything else. I also believe professionals hire professionals. So if management and organization, like me, I have a bunch of virtual assistants with that. I use QuickBooks. I have people that look over my books, and I have partners that are in place specifically.
Checks and balances, right?
So
you can't pull money.
I can't even touch it.
Exactly. So, but someone who's not in that situation.
But I've been I put those things in place because of what you're saying. We had to go through those growth pains of mismanaging what we're supposed to be doing.
Right. So let me ask you this. If you could compare your situation, if you could compare your company structure now versus your company structure back then at that time that you talked about, and compare it to the efficiency in which your company operates, which is better?
So I had to do it wasn't about efficiency, it was like an ego check.
Okay.
It was like yo, you can't do it all.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have to relinquish if you want to reach the scale that you want to reach, you have to relinquish parts of the entity intimately, like in the fabric of it, right? Like when you start a business, it's your baby. You don't want to let nobody in, and so that was hard for me.
Okay. And
then when I finally got partners that I felt were competent, right? That was a big thing for me. It's like, can I trust your vision over mine? Like, I don't, especially if I don't think you're smarter than me. I know that's super arrogant, but I put in the mental work into what I do. So it's like what Kobe said, what pass you the ball for what? You ain't in the gym like me.
Yeah.
But I had to meet people who were in the gym like me.
Right.
And when I got there, then I felt comfortable going, oh, all right, I can just focus on this aspect of it because I know that you're a professional in what you do. And then I have other partners who are professionals. So it's not about efficiency, it was about trust.
Okay.
It was about having partners that I trusted.
Okay.
Because trusting the wrong partners also cost me. I mean, we were roommates when
cost you a lot.
Cost me a lot, right? So, I was a little sensitive to that, letting people come in, but I eventually got to a space where I was like, all right, checks and balances have to be there. Absolute power causes absolute corruption in every capacity.
Right.
So you have to have somebody to tap you on your shoulder, like, yo, fam, you're wilding. Like, here, and it has to be somebody with that cachet, or you have that respect for that. No matter what, you're gonna listen to what they say. So
that was great advice to the entrepreneur who is, living like a scammer.
Yeah, be careful, man. I've been there. I've definitely been there. Now let's talk about these multi-level. Yo, what's the last? We ain't heard nothing. Nothing.
MLM.
What's the last MLM you heard about?
I can't think of one. I can't really think
Forex
of
is the last one.
Probably
what's that company? That Forex
company? Probably
company?
Forex. IML.
IML. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the last company that I heard of. But
what happened?
I think for us, our culture, we kind of like just kick MLMs out. But I do think they still exist.
I mean, there's legacy MLMs.
Like we were supposed to talk about what's the legal shield or
legal shield? Yeah.
Legal shield is still an MLM, but
they completely switched their business model. I love their business model now. It's way better now.
It's amazing. Yeah.
But remember, we used to go get those prepaid legal presentations in college, or World Ventures, or who was the You Should Be Here people? Was that World Ventures?
World Ventures. Yeah.
Hey, shouts out to the homies. They made a killing at World Ventures.
Yes, y'all did.
Shouts out to the homies. They
MLM goats.
Yeah, they made a killing.
But I think one of the real reasons why they died out is just because I don't want to go back to this word, so I'm gonna try to use a different word.
No. That's an appropriate word.
All right. So I think that people, it's become a little Ponzi schemish, where it's not about the product. It's about just getting people in. Where essentially, it should always have been about the product.
Yeah.
And if you want to build a team, you can build a team, but don't build a team and not really push the product.
I'm not going to big this particular company up, but I was with a company that had a version of an MLM structure. But I will always give them this credit. Their product was still the focus.
Yeah.
Right? The way they structured how you issued the product, I didn't always get with. But the product was still the focus. And they're probably the largest and best MLM.
I got a question for you. I respect that company. They have good products.
Bro, they have the most six-figure earners of any company, Fortune 5 or anything in the country. So
I respect that. And also, just so y'all clear, the real MLMs, these MLMs make money.
Oh no, the companies make money. They make a killing.
Look up the Orlando Magic and see who owns who owns the arena. That's an MLM. So they make money. So we're not disputing that or talking about that. But going back to
and in some of them the people make money.
Definitely.
There's some MLM millionaires.
So I will propose to you this question. I'll use Chick-fil-A. Can Chick-fil-A be considered a MLM? And
in a way, McDonald's can too. They have the best business models per se.
Well, McDonald's isn't a food company.
Yeah, but still, but look how they give it up though. They buy the land, lease you the land, build the structure for you, teach you how to run the business, and then charge you a franchise fee to run the business that they taught you how to run.
It's amazing.
They're printing money. And all they have to do is buy the land.
Vertically integrated.
All
you got to do is buy land, and the rest is controlled by McDonald's. That's what we call vertical integration.
Did you ever sell Cutco?
Nah.
Did
They
you
were
ever?
bad knives. I sold vacuums, though.
Did you ever sell...
You laughing at the vacuums?
No. Did you ever sell...
Porn? What?
No, I keep wanting to say pause, but you ever sell the meats?
Nah, you wildin'.
Bro.
You wildin'.
No bull. You never seen the Capitol meat trucks?
Nah, I never sold meat, bro.
Bro.
Never sold
They make a killing.
I know.
They make the guys that sell the butcher boxes.
Yeah, I know.
Make a killing.
I never did it.
What was
I think the wildest thing that I sold like windows.
That's wait, when did you sell windows?
This is like high school. I sold windows. I sold vacuums. I never did Cutco knives because I just knew they were bad. Coming from my industry. What else did I sell? Man, there was a lot. I remember one time I just got my car. I'm like 16 years old. I got this older dude that I'm working with. He gets in my car, which I thought was weird. Like, why am I not getting in your car? He's like, yeah, we're going to Baltimore. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, we're going to find a new region and go to Baltimore. So me at 16, drive all the way to Baltimore.
Sell windows?
To end up going to DC. I remember parking by the monument. And I was like, yo,
what am I doing?
What am I doing, bro? What am I doing? That was my last experience.
I will say, some things give you some super sales skills.
Oh yeah, if you can sell in the MLM.
If you can sell an MLM, you can definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what about So this is what I think happened to MLMs. Mm-hmm. I think they moved from multi-level marketing to people selling courses. That's what I think. I would keep it water with you.
Explain.
All right. Everybody sells a freaking course.
Everybody sells a course.
I hate it.
I don't.
Listen. I said I wasn't going to say this on the podcast, but we here now, baby.
Let's go.
I hate it. I hate it.
Okay.
Despise it.
Explain why.
Because these people, I only like it if you're really in the game, right? Like there's certain guys who are like Ray Diallo can tell us how to do something, right?
What about Grant Cardone?
Absolutely.
So what's bad about his course?
Nothing. I think 10X is fantastic. I think Recession Proof is great. But I think that there are people who may take 10X, may take Recession Proof, and try to remix the sauce.
Oh, of course.
And sell their own thing. Yeah. But they're not in the game. They're just trying to sell a course. Right. So it's like, all right, that's cute. But you start flooding. And then, look, we've taken Recession Proof. I've also read Grant Cardone's books. But I also...
Grant Cardone never shipped me his book and I paid for it.
Well, that should be something you talk about. I don't know if you talk
about
Grant
Cardone, your company never shipped me my book. This is about 3 years ago, and I paid for it. And I've contacted and spoken to multiple reps after the fact, and they all said that they would try to ship me a book, and I never got my book. I'm gonna just put that out there.
I want you to know I'm posting that.
Go ahead.
But
you don't like black people. Post that too.
Okay.
He speaks down on us. But he take my money, and I ain't never get my book.
He takes a lot of people's money.
And that's your guy.
I don't like how you did that. I don't like how you did that. I take Grant for what he is.
I'm a Grant fan, man. I'm not a fan.
I don't know,
but
I take Grant for what he is. I respect his hustle.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying. Grant really gets busy in the real estate space, right? You get what I'm saying? Like he's not just up there. He's not just up there talking in hyperbole. He's really out here buying $100 million buildings. We can drive around and see 10X communities.
Yes, we can.
You get what I'm saying? these other cats be like, oh, you can buy a house with 0% down and ain't never took out a mortgage in their life.
But you just gotta, as a customer, you gotta do your own due diligence and figure
out how do you discern?
Okay, so this is how I do it. So I buy courses.
I do too.
Right. So I'm always starting as a warm lead, right?
If you buy 10 courses, how many if you've bought 10 courses over the last 5 years, because I would say that's about been our invest in self-education, right? If you bought 10 courses, how many of them was really worth the money?
I'm gonna say recession. I gotta put recession proof over here because once you get in, like you bought the course, I bought.
No, you bought the whole thing,
right? So that I'm not gonna talk about recession proof. What I will say is, not all of them work. Not all the ones that I bought work. I paid $6,000 for a trading course. I literally had this conversation the other day. I paid $6,000 for a trading course, and I got 2 things out of the whole course that still stick with me today.
Did you make your $6,000 back from the information that you got out of that course?
Alone? No. But if I couple it with other information and
how I'm talking about direct works. Like, all right, perfect example. I took a business loan broker course, right?
Yeah.
Do I think the course was worth the money that but within a week of being in that course, was able to take everything from that course and throw it in the trash and go directly to the source of what the course was trying to middleman me to, right? But whatever money I spent on that course, I've made back 10, 20, 30 times.
So it's worth it.
I don't know if it's worth it though.
But you made 20,
because
30 times
let me explain what I'm saying. Maybe I get to that information
on your own?
On my own.
Why does it matter if you paid 20, 30 times the money?
It's the principle, Hakeem.
What's the principle? You trying to take the long route or you want to get there?
I'm just saying I want my money's worth.
Is the goal to get to the destination or to look at the trees on the way there?
It depends on what we're talking about here. Because sometimes you got to take in the trees.
I'm just trying to get there, brother.
Okay. I mean, sometimes you got to look and enjoy your scenery.
I stop, smell the roses.
Don't pick them.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to get there. So for me, I bought a $6,000 course
to get 2 pieces of information.
Were
they worth $6,000 in your mind?
The way I was trading, you could say that saved me $6,000.
Okay.
But if I compare it to other courses that I have taken that I've withdrawn information from, is it worth $6,000? No. But I'm not going to say that 2 pieces of information wasn't helpful. Could I have learned that the hard way? Yeah.
I've spent a lot of money on courses the last 4 or 5 years.
I could probably run down how many courses trading alone.
I'm about to take a course that costs $2,000. It's like a 8-week course on commercial real estate, right? I don't necessarily know. When she was giving me the syllabus, I was like, I don't know if I need to pay this money for this information. I'm more so paying like the Bridger situation.
Yeah.
I want to be in the.
Well, see, if I took Bridger's course, I would.
No, I would pay the full. No, I don't. I would take Bridger's course, and I know a lot of the
I'm
stuff.
taking it as a student, not for the networking. And
that's I would take it for the networking.
I mean,
RPX was a good investment.
Yeah, so let's get there. So that's another thing that we can talk about because the course alone, a lot of if whoever you're buying a course from offers you a course alone,
it's probably not worth it.
I wouldn't do it. But if you don't have access to that person or that
group,
team or a group of people with specialists in there, you got to be able to ask questions because when you're a student, you got questions. Obviously, you're taking a course to learn.
So I prefer the courses that come with communities or Facebook groups.
Yeah, I need a community, and I need to know that you're actually doing this. You're actually making money off of what you're
selling,
and not making no. You're actually making money off of what you do, and not making the money off of what you sell and make it look like you're doing what you're.
But that's what I mean, right? Like you hear people talk. Like one of my least favorite. One of my least favorite things that people teach is credit card stacking. I hate it. Hate it. Right?
So people got courses on credit stacking.
Oh my God. That is
Yo, listen, you want a course on credit stacking? Here it is. Get as many credit cards as you can. Don't pay nobody $5,000 to do that, bro. You take your computer, you open up
100
20 different tabs
and apply.
You apply all at the same time. Why? Because then your credit score won't go down. They'll get hit all at the same time, but the company will look as if you never applied for another credit card. That's what credit card stacking is. Don't take no course on that.
I absolutely hate credit card
But people would
stacking.
charge you $500. I should be getting $500 right now.
I absolutely hate credit card stacking.
Yeah. So what's the moral of the story?
Just pay attention, man. Pay attention to what you're paying for. Pay attention to what you're doing. Rather you're out there starting your own business and you're, trying to figure it out. It ain't easy. If it was easy, and that's the other thing.
Everybody be doing it.
But that's the other thing. Everybody's trying to do it, and then they learn that it ain't easy.
Now they stop, and their course money going down the drain.
The course money went down the drain. They done probably credit card stacked to start this business. Now they more in debt than when they start. So
and that's why a community is important, because when you get to that point, that's not the time to quit. That's actually the time to get around the people
and learn
who are doing like things, figure out how to push past, because right on the other side of that hump is where you're going to start seeing results.
Well, I'm gonna be real with you. Forget all that. Because I got a strategy that if you take your time and do it correctly, you won't need no course. It's public knowledge. You can do it in a single family home or in a 100-unit apartment building.
So you don't believe in people charging for knowledge? Or is that a different conversation? Because I'm here for the courses. I pay for them. I will do them.
Am I here for people charging for knowledge? They say the game is to be sold, not told, right? But I'm of this. I'm cool with giving you the information. But it's probably because the information I'm giving you, you eventually have to come back to me to get.
So you're not giving them the full sauce?
I am giving them the full sauce. They don't have to come to me, but if I give you the sauce, if I tell you, yo, you can you need eggs, water, flour, all this is how you bake a cake, right? Then I walk away and they're looking at it like, but I still don't know how to bake a cake. Let me go holler at.
But you got to put it in the instructions.
No.
So in my ebook, if we're going to go with that example, I'm laying it out. You need to go to the grocery store. It don't have to be my grocery store. Pick a grocery store that you like. They need to have this, and this in it.
Yeah.
You need to buy this, and this.
Yeah.
You need to drive home.
I give all that for free.
Yeah. So that's what I think courses should be, and not just go to the grocery store,
buy the ingredients,
buy eggs, come home. This is put 2 eggs in a bucket. First of all eggs not the same size. So that's my first question.
What kind of eggs?
What kind of eggs? But
that's what I mean. Like I give up the like for example, I do the free 30-minute consultation, right? For anyone who wants to, you guys can DM me or text me if you have my number, or email me. I'll give you a free 30 minutes of my time, right? Just so that, because at the end of the day, I'm a broker. So I provide the direct service that's needed for people to accomplish what they have come to talk to me about.
Right.
So, I would hope that in those conversations, I'm able to provide that value that they go,
it was worth it.
I want to work with him. I want him to help me through this process.
Right.
If they don't, cool, because I know how to do my own thing, right? I know how to make my own plays happen. So I don't have to charge for the information.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Now, my time after 30 minutes,
now
we're talking something completely different.
Yeah.
But the information, I learned it for free for the most part.
Yeah, I'm a mixed bag. I learned, I paid, I took what I needed, I moved on. The money for me wasn't wasn't. Did I stress over it? Nah, not really, especially not RPX. So
RPX is
awesome. You take what you take and you move on.
Yeah.
I don't never. The goal is to go in there and say, okay, after I take this course, I can start doing it, whatever it is. But in my specific scenario with trading, it's not like one strategy fits all. So I'm taking information and I'm putting it. I'm gathering information, and sometimes I got to pay for high price pieces of information.
Well,
and
yeah.
Sometimes it's worth it. So I bring it all back, and then I organize it and I figure out what's best for me. So that's what I do with courses.
Like perfect example, right? The BRRRR Strategy, which I'm going to talk about real quick, right? There are people who sell a BRRRR Strategy course.
Right.
I'm about to give the BRRRR Strategy for free right now on the bread aisle.
Bet. Before we do that, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. You walking with the bread
on
aisle.
Saturday afternoon, I get to chill with my man. I get a break from the family, break from the kids. What better way to chill than with a quick glass of Remy Martin?
Team Up for Excellence.
Team Up for Excellence. Make sure y'all drink responsibly.
Welcome back to the bread aisle. I'm JFL Lee.
I'm Finance King.
And listen, man, Keem, I was going to give him some sauce.
You was going to.
Yeah, I thought about not doing it, but then I was like, you know what? The people need this information.
All right, so let's do it.
Look, there's a strategy in real estate that I believe is the most powerful way to build wealth. I actually don't think that there's a better strategy in real estate than this way. It's called the BRRRR Strategy.
And what that stands for?
It stands for buy,
renovate,
rent, refinance, repeat. So for short, we call it BRRRR. But essentially,
Gucci.
I literally knew you was going to do that. I'm so happy you did that. But literally, what the BRRRR Strategy is essentially you're taking the fix and flip business model. So buying a distressed property, fixing it up, but instead of selling it, you rent it, and then you go to the bank and you refinance it.
Okay.
So this is how it will go. I'll give you a quick case study.
Let's do it.
We're going to use really simple numbers.
Okay.
I find a house for $50,000.
Okay.
This is for example purposes. This is not a typical scenario, but this is kind of how you want to do the math in a BRRRR deal. So you find a house, $50,000. You say, okay, well, how much is this house worth in the end? Come to find out, this house might be worth $200,000.
In the end, you mean after it's all rehab,
once it's all
fixed up,
rehab fixed up, top of the market.
Bet.
In some terms, we call that ARV.
Okay.
So you find a house, figure out its ARV. You say, all right, what is this ARV?
After rehab value.
After rehab value or after repair value.
Okay.
Right. So let's say the after repair value is $200,000. You take that $200,000, and when you work with a professional, they'll tell you they should know that a lender, some call them hard money lenders, I call them private money lenders. A private money lender will give you 70% of that after repair value to purchase and fix up the property.
Is that standard?
Standard.
Bet.
And almost 90% of the time, it's going to be 70% of that ARV.
Okay.
Right? So if it's 200,000, let's do some quick math for the people. 200,000 times 70%.
140.
$140,000. Look at that. Your math is great.
Come on, man.
Your math is fantastic. You must trade stocks. That must be.
Every day.
All right, so 140 grand, right? Now we know that the lender will give us a total of $140,000 to complete a real estate deal that is worth $200,000 when complete.
Okay.
You don't want to be that close. That means your margins are super tight.
Right.
So let's say you find a house for $50,000.
That was the original price.
Boom.
Okay.
House is $50,000.
Okay.
You come to find out that $50,000 house can now be worth $200,000 if you do the work.
Yep.
Let's say it cost you $70,000 to get that house to its total value of $200,000.
So all in, I'm 120 right
All in, you're 120. Of that $120,000, you need 20%. I like to say 30% to be safe, because you want to cover the debt service, you have transaction costs, but the money that you put down directly on the loan will be 20%.
So I need 24 bands.
Just about 24 bands. Okay. All right. Now, you take that money, go to the lender, buy the property, you get a contractor, a competent one. We can talk about how to build a relationship with contractors in a different conversation, but you go get a contractor, or if you're the contractor yourself, the contractor does the work for you. Okay. Right? So you put $24,000 or 20% of the 120 grand. Mm-hmm. That is 24 grand. Yep. Right? Put that down on the loan. Now your principal balance is 80% of that. So you're at 90.
What does that mean? My principal balance of the 24?
No, your principal balance of the 120.
Okay.
Right? You put 24,000
down. So the remaining balance.
The remaining balance, your principal balance. Yep. Now on that, you're going to pay anywhere between 9 to 12% interest. Okay. But you pay interest only. The term is for a year. So you have a year
to pay 9.4 grand.
To pay 94 grand.
My bad, 9,400. 9,400.
Yeah, well,
10% of the 94 grand.
Yeah, but it's broken down over 12 months.
Right.
So you have 1 year to pay that interest off. Right. You're paying interest only. So you're only paying interest while you have the loan. If you close the loan in 6 months, you only paid 6 months of interest.
Is there a reason for that, or?
It's the way it's easier for lenders. So when lenders give their money in these types of deals, they can't sell that type of loan to the government. So they're trying to maximize their returns. Okay. But they also only have these loans out for a year. Okay. So in loan terms, it's relatively fast. Okay. They're not designed to be long-term loans. Gotcha. They are front-end, short-term financing. So you take that $94,000 that you have, you fix up the property. Now you're finished. Mm-hmm. I skipped a step. Excuse me. Before you buy the property, you also need to figure out, if you're going to decide to make it a rental, what can I rent it for? Mm-hmm. Right? So you figure out what you can rent it for, and I'll break that down on the back end. Now, when you're done renovating it, you're going to go to the bank. You're going to say, bank, this house is now worth, or a mortgage lender or any other type of lender, this house is now worth 200 grand. Mm-hmm. The bank is going to go, oh, really? Great. We'll give you 75% of that in a new mortgage.
This is the refinance.
This is the refinance.
Okay.
Now, most of the time, they're going to want to do something called a debt service coverage ratio. I talked about that a couple episodes ago. That basically means that if the mortgage is $1,000, your lease has to at least be $1,250. Mm-hmm. Right? You need to be making 25 to 30% profit every month on your monthly mortgage payment.
Right.
Those are safe metrics. So when you look at your value in your refi, they're going to look at your debt service coverage ratio to figure out how much money of the new $200,000 value will your debt service cover, depending on the lender. Some lenders don't have a no DSCR.
Right.
They normally have higher interest rates.
Okay.
Some lenders have a 1.3. Some have a 1.4. Some have a 1.2.
Right.
It really just depends on the lender. But the important thing is to understand that if you're going to pull out cash out of a deal, so remember I told you on 200 you can get a maximum of 140, but at 75% you could probably get about 150. Mm-hmm. You're only into the deal for 94.
Right.
So if you just pull out the cash that you put up, you have a mortgage for $120,000, and your debt service is going to be fairly low. On a brand new property, you're able to lease it out and collect more cash flow.
Right.
Now, or you could say, I'm going to pull out more money because I can rent it for a lot more. So let's just say you pull out $150,000. Mm-hmm. You got your 24 grand back, mm-hmm. plus an extra 24 grand. You keep the property, and now you have a tenant in there. Let's say your mortgage is $1,200, and you have a lease for $1,600. You now are keeping the property. Mm-hmm. You have none of your actual cash in the property, yep. And you still have 25 to 30% equity in the property, and you're collecting cash flow every month. But the key to this is the last R. The last R stands for repeat. Mm-hmm. You take that new $50,000 you have,
and you have to
And you don't have to.
Well, you don't have to, but
you
the
should.
point
is to take it. If you could know that you can do one $200,000 property for 24 grand, you now have $50,000. You can go do 2 more.
So do you take out your 24, your original 24, so now you're only left with the 25 or whatever, 25-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use the 25-ish or you put your 25 back up again, your 24 back
You
up
could
again?
do both.
Okay.
You could take the 25 that you put in originally, plus the new 25, and go by 2 separate situations. So now you go from 1 to 3. And then from 3 to 5 or 3 to 6. Because if I know, and I'm just using
Rough
examples,
numbers, yeah.
but if I know that I can double my liquidity on each house,
Right.
then if 1 turns to 2, 2 turns to 4, 4 turns to 8, 8 turns to 16 by just using the BRRRR strategy.
So how long? You said it takes a year for the loan.
It doesn't have to take a year.
So
you can
typically,
it depends on the scope of the rehab, but you could probably, between 4 to 6 months, you should be trying to be from purchase to refinance.
4 to 6 months.
4
All
to
right.
6.
So I know it's going to be kind of hard, but what's the best scenario distressed house you want to find? Is it just, new paint, new carpet, or do you want bare bones?
Again, it really depends. The more work you have to do, the more equity opportunities you have. Right? The closer the house is to move-in ready, the more you're going to pay for it.
Right.
Because it's closest to the top of the market. So me, I target the worst properties.
All right, bet. So let's go with worst properties.
Like if I could buy a house for 10 grand and maybe it cost me $80,000, $90,000.
But it's no roof.
But there's no roof.
Halfway burned down.
You've seen some of the houses that I bought. Like they're terrible.
Yeah.
But if I can take them and get them to another level, because I know the area and I know that I can get it rented for X amount of dollars.
All right, so let's not talk in dollars. Let's talk in percentages, because no matter what the dollar amount is,
I play the percentage game.
If we stick with the percentage, everybody can understand. At what percentage are you looking to buy the distressed house?
Oh, I want them like 20 to 30% to market.
Okay.
So like if a house is worth 100 grand, I want to pay like 20, 15,000 for
100 grand ARV.
Yeah, 100 grand ARV. I want to be at like 20,000, 15,000.
And at what percent do you get back? I'm not sure how to phrase this question.
What is my return? What am I looking for return?
Yeah. Not the cash flow. I'm just talking with the bank will get you back.
At best, I want to be able to get the money I put in out. I don't necessarily have to get new capital because that doesn't always fit the situation.
Right.
But when I'm analyzing the deal, I have to look at the deal and say, I'm going to at least be able to get the money I put in out. Okay. Which is why you don't go, oh, I know the bank will give me 70%. Let me buy a property at 70% or 60% or 50%.
So
because you want to have enough space.
Yeah. So my next question, I'm asking all the questions I can think of for the viewers watching that may be interested. So my next question, what buffer percentage do you like to have in your deals?
If I can't make 30% return on my investment, it's not for me.
No. Okay, good. That's good. But my question is, I don't know the language. I don't really know how to talk. You said you don't want to go all the way up to the max when getting the money out of the bank.
So 70%, when you start looking at deals that are like right at 70, your margins are really tight. If something goes wrong,
So what buffer, what space do you give?
I thought another 20. I'm telling you, I'm like super conservative. So I'm looking at properties that are like
50%.
Yeah, 50%.
And
which require a little bit more work to find.
Right.
Or a little bit, I have to be willing to do more construction.
More work. Yeah.
Facilitate more construction in the thing, but I prefer that larger value add potential because it's maximum growth. And you control that growth a little bit.
So I put 20 to 30% into the ARV.
That's at minimum. You can't even do a deal if it doesn't have 30%.
It structurally won't work.
Structurally won't work.
Right. So
unless it's turnkey.
And then turnkey,
You're paying top of the market anyway. You're paying that 200. You're not paying the.
So why? I mean, I guess that's just for the cash flow. You just buy.
Yeah, you're just buying cash flow when it's turnkey.
Okay.
Which is not a bad investment either, but then you have to talk about management, and that's not BRRRR.
That's not BRRRR.
So
right.
You're just buying cash flow, which I don't have a problem with either.
So when you get the BRRRR strategy, you got one turns into two. Having two BRRRRs give me the opportunity to have a third one. So it's essentially now it's on autopilot.
Yeah, you're recycling the same money.
Right. At what point am I selling? Am I keeping? Is that the strategy that I think about? Or
you know Big Business?
No.
From Philly?
No.
Greg Parker. He says that you can't carry that much debt for that long. Eventually you have to liquidate and reposition. Which is correct. But that is always based on market conditions of your plan. So remember we talked about last week or 2 episodes ago where I was like, real estate is like a 10-year window.
Yeah.
So there are loan products out there, and this is more for the more advanced investors, but there are loan products out there that allow you to structure it for the 5-year sprint, maximize your cash flow for 5 years and then sell it.
Right.
Right. When you start talking portfolio talk, right? So in 5 years, let's say you went from 1 to 20, which is very doable using the BRRRR strategy. At the 20, they're not looking at the individual houses anymore.
They're looking at your whole.
They're looking at the whole portfolio and its performance.
And they judging the amount of debt off the whole portfolio.
Debt on the whole portfolio. So it's analyzed at a different metric. When you start doing the 1, 2, like those are like, oh, all right. How much is it worth? How much is the house worth?
All right, so we always think enterprise. It's funny I say that word, right? We think enterprise. So in 5 years I got 20. What's my next move? Is my next move to sell a portfolio and maybe just buy an apartment complex, or
I would hope so.
Am I still BRRRRing?
That's the natural progression, but you can BRRRR apartments.
So in order to get that down payment,
it's still the kind of this.
Am I taking the cash flow? Am I selling the piece?
Listen,
I'm doing whatever I got to do to just.
It's the same math.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? If we could do the same thing with an apartment bill. 700,000 is $1 million.
Right.
Right. It's still you still need 30%.
I come to the table with 200, 300,000.
Yeah, 300,000, 240 for the $1 million. Right.
So if I got 20 properties,
let's say you got 20 properties, all of them are 70% loan to value. Right.
Right.
You have 30% equity in all of them, which you shouldn't because they're 30-year mortgages. So your tenant should be paying that debt down.
Right.
So in 5 years, you should be.
So you want to pull all your money, pull as much as you can.
Yeah.
This is what doesn't happen in courses. All right, watch this. The question that I want to get to is the question that I've never heard somebody speak about, and I've heard a lot of people speak about the BRRRR before. But so you say the tenant pays a mortgage. Everyone assumes that. So in my mind, from somebody who's not in real estate, I think you pull out all the 70% because the tenant pays. But that is not what you do.
No.
You pull out what the bank allows you on 130%.
Yeah.
That's the gem.
That's the part. You don't pull out all the equity.
I'm a toast to that, man.
Because now you're over leveraged.
Because shout out to Remy, team up for excellence. But I will say that's the key piece of information that
they don't give you that.
Maybe people don't give you that in the course.
Like I'll tell you a story.
And you gotta hear.
I got a client. He does BRRRR, right? I've talked to you about him off air. I'm not gonna say his name, but he does BRRRR, right? He does BRRRR on the same street.
Okay.
He buys as many of the houses on the same street that he can, right?
But that's super smart.
So he owns like 4 houses on the same block, right? I've done all of the.
Can you explain to the people why that is super duper smart?
Well, you create your own market.
You're living in 2030. I mean, 3020.
Yeah, you're creating your own sub-market where your properties dictate your first property dictates the value of the second property, that dictates the value of the third property, that dictates the value of the fourth property.
Yes.
So by the time you get to the fourth property,
the whole block
is more
value will increase. which raises the
overall property value.
overall property value of
create
that.
your own comps, right?
So to piggyback off of that, not only are you getting the ARV cash flow, you're actually improving you're internally building appreciation on your own.
With your own work.
It's
so
crazy.
It's like it's I remember telling him. I remember the first day he came to talk to me. At first he was doing all his deals cash, and I sell money, so I'm always down for debt, but I'm smart debt, right? You have to know what kind of debt you're using. So anyway, so he's using his cash. So he does his first one, he flips it, but real estate is a static product, not like the stock market where you can. If you got a portfolio of stocks, right, and you need some money tomorrow, you can sell that. And whether it's at a loss or a gain, you can get that actual liquidity.
It's liquid. Yeah.
It don't work like that in real estate.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so once you park your money somewhere when it comes to real estate, it's there until you sell it or you put debt on it. So he was buying and renovating these joints out of pocket cash. Right? He might spend $100,000, $150,000 on a house. And now he's out of $150,000. He's either going to recoup it through the cash flow, or he has to sell the property. Or he runs into someone like me who says, well, why don't you just use
OPM
mortgage, right? Open the market up. Give yourself more possibilities and keep your liquidity so you can do more deals. So I can do that.
And again, this is what the people don't talk about if you want to take a course. And it's kind of like I'm gonna be the student teacher here. So the reason why you use OPM is not because it's that, that phrase is cool or other people's money, The real reason why you use OPM is because it takes away when he's using cash, he automatically incurs an opportunity cost. So when you use OPM, you take away the opportunity cost. So now I have other people's money.
You transfer it.
You
transfer it to those. But your job now is to
be productive with that.
So what he ended up doing was, I'll never forget this actually. This was the beginning of COVID. He refinanced it at an appraisal like a number that was so astronomical to me. I couldn't believe it. Right? I was like,
and this was his first refi.
This was his first refi, and I'm like, don't take out 100. Don't take out all that money.
Right.
Take out like 50% of what they just appraised it for. Right. He was only in it for 100. They appraised it at 230, so 50% is 115. Right. So I'm like, yo, you don't need the 70% of the 230. I think it ended up being like 180 or 190. I was like, you don't need all that, and it's gonna be over leveraged if property value dips.
Right. So
just take out the cash you put up. You're going to keep the property, and your mortgage is going to be low, so your cash flow is going to be higher. So then he took that 115 that he got back and bought 2 more houses next door. And then when he realized, and I explained it to him, like, yo, now you have this 115, you don't have to put it all on one property. You can spread it out. So he takes that 115. This is when I was licensed. He bought a $2 million life insurance policy. He bought,
and he put the cash on it.
He put the cash in,
so he get immediate cash value now.
He bought a $2 million life insurance policy.
I want to walk away, bro.
Bro, listen, bro. At this time I was like really learning this game, so I was like trying everything, right? So I'm like, yo, he buys $2 million life insurance policy. He put like 50 to 60,000 in a mutual, and then flip 2 houses.
From the life insurance?
No, he bought term.
Okay.
He bought term, but that's because of where I was at. That's what we were selling. But still, it was 30-year policy. He's got a portfolio with 30-year mortgages on them. So, we talk about that. So also, again, we're not going to get that up here. But at the end, bro, he was fully covered. His portfolio was covered. He had passive retirement investment, like IRA, whatever.
That's ill.
And then
he got cash flow. And
then he got 2 more properties that I'm literally getting ready to refinance next month.
Right.
So he's turned that 115 into like $400,000 or $500,000 investment capital.
And that's how
That's how
you play the game.
That's how you do the back.
That's how you play the game.
That's the game. Like, for example, let's say you use your credit cards. You're a new investor, right? No, I can tell you right now, new investors don't know how to read the market.
Right.
Like someone like me who's been in the market for 10, 12 years.
Right.
Not because they're dumb.
They just don't have
you just don't understand certain nuances.
It's the experience, yeah.
Right? Let's say, or you're excited. And you might see you're running comps. You might see one comp that says, "Oh, this house is worth $250,000." And you go, "I can get $250,000 for this house." And you make your investments based on that $250,000, but you don't know the deeper research you need to do, or you didn't hire a professional. And you used your credit card to get that.
That foundation ain't right. Them plumbing pipes got leaks.
No, not even that, bro. You didn't know that you have to look deeper into those numbers, and that 250 was an aberration. And really, this is a market of a bunch of 180s. And now you've used your credit card. You get what I'm saying? And you can't get that cash back.
This is the only way that I would ever say credit card stack. Start a company. If you have a company, this company isn't your primary company.
E-com is the only way to do it.
You start a company, maybe it is an e-com company, or maybe you have a shelf company. You feed the invoices from your primary company. You get the business credit up because that won't affect your personal credit.
But Hakeem, even business credit, the revolvings, they still report if you default. So
they report to the business.
No, if like the revolving credit cards, the unsecured, if you default.
That's if you PG though. Don't PG. You can't PG on it. You really got to know what you're doing, and this is why I just say, look how many loopholes, and look at what we talk about. It's not working.
System, bro. And you'll get more money if you PG it.
But it's not a scenario that it's not a risk that I'm willing to take.
I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it either. So
only time I would use credit cards is to pay business expenses in a business that's making money every single month. Or in your case, when you were a chef, if you had an event.
Yeah.
And they paid for the event, you pay for the supplies and the labor and everything on your Amex.
Only way y'all use it, you're supposed to use a business card. I mean, a credit card as a business is pretty much like a net 30. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
I'm not big on.
That's it.
Using credit cards to fund investments, unless you're.
Nah. Unless your credit card is like that.
Like I could use a credit card to do a deal, but I'm 12 years in the game. Like I could do a BRRRR in my sleep, but even then, I probably look for other capital sources before I would use my credit card.
No, I don't know a scenario where I would. Maybe if I had a black card, maybe.
There's a couple scenarios, but very few.
That's that. That's the BRRRR, y'all.
That's the BRRRR strategy.
Make sure y'all go back, listen to this, take some notes, because that was pretty much
bread talk.
Yes,
that's what that was.
That was that bread talk. I tried to get as much questions as y'all for y'all as I could. If you have any more questions, go ahead, comment below, or send us an email, and I can try to get them to talk about it again. But
no, I'm gonna do a BRRRR special class.
Okay. So let's make it live.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a BRRRR live.
All right, let's make it live. We're gonna invite some people, and then they can ask all the questions they want.
That's my favorite segment.
Go ahead, Lover Boy Lee. Lover Boy, are you pouring up? You ain't even drink.
No.
Lover Boy Lee. We moving into relationships and finance. This right here is Lover Boy Lee. And I'm still Finance King, so my money hat is always on. So let's talk about building wealth together, but you're not married. How do you feel about it, Lee?
Oh, man, listen. I always talk about that Ponzi scheme thing, slippery slope.
Mm-hmm.
That building wealth together thing is a slippery slope in the sense of what happens should it not
work out.
I'll
give you a real live example. So in 2020, our man was going through his thing, and he had a really, really, really stand up moment where, you know, they basically separated, but he was like, "It's my job to, you know, pretty much hold it down. Fine, you know, we're gonna get her a crib, this and that." And me, I'm talking to him. I'm like, "Yo, sorry, I'm just gonna put out this. If you ever see this, this was a real conversation. I'm being transparent. I didn't understand. I'll finish with the understanding. But I'm there like,
Absolutely.
why are you doing this? Like,
Absolutely not, right?
the terms in which, you know, we got here, what are we doing this for?" And he says, "I have to make sure my daughter's straight." Right?
Yes.
And at the time I didn't have a daughter. So I heard him, I felt it, but I still didn't understand. So when I bought the house,
We had the conversation.
And she was pregnant. And you said, by no circumstance do you do that. And you still stand on
I
it.
still kind of stand on that.
And at the end of the day, I gotta make sure my daughter's straight.
But at least, and it's gonna sound crazy, but when you're talking wealth building, right? That is an accumulation of assets. That's real life. That ain't no like, feelings are cool, but when it hits the fan.
Yes. Okay. So I'll go through my thought process on, maybe I wasn't clear enough with everybody. We're talking about giving the house up, if anything. Basically, giving the house up if anything was to ever happen,
even
right?
if you gave the house up, right? You ain't giving the house up. You just leaving.
Yeah. Okay. So, but right. Yeah, because my name is still on the deed.
I'm talking.
But I would still have to split half of everything.
You would just cover the mortgage because you're a stand-up man, and that's what your family, rather your kids need a home to live in, right? I don't have kids, right? So if I'm dating a girl, even if I'm dating her serious, and we acquire a bunch of assets together and then break up, we never get married.
Whose name's on the deed?
That's what matters. It's about.
So whose name is on the deed? Who, in that situation, whose name is it?
Puts up the money?
Is it? I was just about to say, is it who puts up the money?
Who puts up the money?
So, man,
like, I remember I talked about how there was a time I was looking for a partner to participate in wealth building with me, right?
Right.
And my version of wealth building was using entrepreneurship and real estate at that.
Right.
The person that I wanted to do that, their version of wealth building was, I've already reached my space of earning my income. I can max out on my income. I don't need to do entrepreneurship. Let's say in that scenario, they used FHA to buy their house. And then we go, all right, now we're going to move into a bigger house and I'm going to use my FHA. But we're never married.
Right.
If we use my FHA, it's my house.
Yeah, but are you going to be on them?
It depends. That really depends.
I mean, that was the deal y'all spoke about.
If we have kids, yes, you have to be honorable because your kids need it. But if we're just,
you're not going to be honorable?
I'm going to be honorable to the deal, but I'll probably, honestly, to be keeping it 100 with you, I won't do it. I don't. All
right, so let me ask you this. Could you put her name
on what?
No, I know a trust can go on the deed.
There was a time that my ex was one of the benefactors on the life insurance.
I would agree. Yeah.
But at that time,
well, I don't have an ex. Well, I do have exes, but I'm talking my current,
At the time, we lived together. I had every intentions on marrying that person. I was making moves to do that.
Right.
But that's my ex now. She ain't my benefactor on my life insurance anymore.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like that. Those are like I don't believe in doing that.
So you would never put no one else's name on a deed. I can respect it.
So I'm not putting your name on the deed. We're not doing no joint accounts. We're not
Unless you're married.
unless we're married or there's mutual efforts to reaching the marriage goal.
So let's go back to the situation where you said y'all both tag team the wealth building strategy where one used the FHA, another one used the FHA. If y'all are tag teaming,
yeah, that's mutual effort
right,
to reach a goal.
So let me ask you this. So you use the FHA for the first crib, that's the starter crib.
Boom. Now
She used her FHA for the first crib.
put
Starter
any money
crib.
up.
You don't put no money up.
But do I pay the mortgage?
Sure.
All right.
Because
I
you're the
pay
man of the
mortgage,
house.
but I don't put any money up to get the
No.
house. Okay.
And she puts your name on the deed.
Well, go ahead.
So when it's your time, she's like, okay, we got to start a crib. You know, let's get the bigger crib. You're going to use your FHA.
Okay.
You're still going to pay the mortgage because you're the man of the house.
Yes.
But it's now her time to be part of the deed.
Well, that's honor.
Are you honorable?
I have to be. My name is on the deed of her house.
Right. So that's the only way.
Gotta be mutual, man.
I respect it.
Gotta be mutual.
I respect it.
Because when it's not mutual,
I respect it.
somebody takes a L.
To be honest,
In most cases, it's the man.
yeah, to be honest, this is if you're not careful in this breakup, it still is very well could be very similar to a divorce without a prenup.
Yeah. You believe in prenups?
I do. Do I think I would get one?
Well, no, you asked. I'm sorry. You can't get a
Nah,
prenup.
I'm not. I probably won't get a prenup. But a lot of people misconstrue.
Might snuff you if you
Nah, I don't think. But her character is something that I judge. You know, I haven't seen her do anything to make me question her character.
Yeah, I feel you.
How she would treat me based, you know,
I'll
on
tell
a
you
situation
this.
like that.
In my life,
Yeah.
they got about a year and a half left.
Of what?
If I meet a girl that I can marry in the next year and a half, 2 years,
Yeah.
I'm cool. We probably won't need to sign a
But after that,
prenup. After that,
prenup gang.
yeah, you got a prenup.
See, a lot of people don't realize though prenups
They protect everyone.
they protect everyone in all facets. A lot of people think it's just about what happens if you guys break up, but that's not all a prenup
It's
does.
custody.
It's what you bring.
Yeah,
as well.
I believe in leave what you came with, unless you help me.
Even though y'all help build
if you help me
something.
build it, then
What if you helped her build it?
well, you know me, so you know if I help you build it, I want.
What if you building? What if you go on your real estate mogul and she is an e-commerce god?
Look at you speaking real life into my life right now. look
I'm talking.
Look
What if she John Nice e-commerce?
Inshallah.
Which one on the e-commerce or the John Nice or both?
Both.
Lordy.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it honest with you.
Yo, we clipping that up and I'm tagging her.
Cause yo, she's ill on the e-commerce thing, and then she's fired, right?
Right.
But she's married, right?
I don't know. I don't know her love life.
She got there's a guy there though. I know that.
I'm not sure.
But just imagine if that guy is just like some business dude, right? And this girl is just wilding on the internet. Not in a bad way, like just bodying the internet in a capacity that they're bringing in more than they could even fathom from her revenue streams via the internet. They're building something together, right? If any of his money was put to just support
I like what you're doing here. I like what you're doing.
I have a friend.
I like what you're doing.
I have a friend who's like.
I'm not gonna let you go down this road.
I have a friend who's like a sister to me, right? I'm I'm not gonna, again, I don't like to say a lot of people's names. I won't put their business up there. She runs an e-commerce brand.
Okay.
It is a fantastic brand. It's doing numbers.
Okay.
Her husband is, I don't even know what he does. I just know he's,
he put money up.
But he put the bread up.
Did she pay him back?
Does she have to?
Was that part of the deal?
No, I'm just saying, like, they're married though.
She don't have to. She don't have to. But what if she did? Now he got his bread, bro. I can walk. I paid you back.
Yeah, but that goes back to teamwork.
I see. I like what you're doing here. See, now it's teamwork on her side.
No, it's
But
teamwork
it's your side.
It's teamwork.
You're not putting her on the deed.
No, if I'm on her deed, she can go on my deed. It's, for me, it's about like reciprocation.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's all it is. Like, I'm not gonna move into a woman's house and just pay the mortgage because she's like, a mortgage payment is something different. That is not, because
That's a monthly deposit.
Exactly. The pushback would be, well, you would pay rent. Yeah, but I'd have renter's rights.
You would.
You wouldn't be able to just be like, you gotta get out, or whatever capacity. You get what I'm saying? I would have rights to my space.
I thought about going down the lane
No, don't do it.
to give fellas some knowledge, but I'll leave that alone. I'll leave that alone.
I think that when
fellas know your rights.
Yeah.
If you paying rent, know your rights.
You paying any of her bills.
Look up the squatter.
Yeah.
Look up squatter law.
You have. I don't think you should capitalize on them if you don't want to be perceived as some sucker. But I'm just saying, like, but that's what I mean. Bro, you imagine paying a joint's mortgage? Y'all break up. She like, you gotta go.
Why you ain't got your own crib, man?
But it's not even the point. What if you're invested in that
relationship?
So
you move in with her.
You help her pay her bills. You help her build. You help her get her debt free. You help do all these things.
This man going down personal.
And no,
you said so. Cue the weekend.
I left my girl back home.
Yo, chill.
I don't love her no
more.
But I'm just saying, like, imagine you do all of that and then it ends, amicably or whatever. What are you left with? Memories? Memories ain't gonna get you no ROI.
Yeah.
Where's your opportunity cost? Don't, like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
right.
That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not talking, like, the feelings, the emotions, I'm not talking about none of that.
All right, so I'll ask you this then. Because this conversation, this question comes up when it comes to a prenup. Are you going in? I know you're not going in with it with intentions to, come to a breakup. But
you never wanted to.
Right. But some would say if you are, have a plan B for the breakup or whatever, you're not wholeheartedly in it or you know what I'm saying?
When you marry someone, you make a covenant in front of whatever
God.
Your higher power is.
Right.
For life.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Life is a very long time.
Yes, it is.
And life is fickle. Therefore, not to get deep into another thing, but I don't believe in divorce, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I also understand that divorce is a very real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so
we're going down the path.
No, I'm just saying,
but
if
your belief, you don't believe in it, so the question will be, will it ever become an option? Because you don't believe. Is that a question that you can answer right now?
I don't know if that's a question I can answer right now.
Okay. That's the honest
truth. I don't
truth.
know if that's something. I would hope that
it never comes up.
It never comes to that. But
I think
you'd asked me a year ago.
Yeah.
What life would be like now, I'd have a very different answer for you.
Do you think that that's something that people think about?
I think some people think
maybe
about
like not constantly, but every once in a while, like a what if or
yeah, I think that I think it comes. Like I think it's human naturally. Like
Yeah,
I think you
I
should
think
build
so
your
too.
own individual wealth.
Yes, sir.
And maybe y'all discuss strategies like, hey, look, I've been doing this. Maybe you want to implement this in your life for your stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe y'all do it parallel simultaneously, but not together.
That's a cool perspective.
So
I'm not opposed to doing it together.
I
If
mean-
it's established that, look, like for example, I don't want to throw no shots, but no Brandon Marshall, right? We established when we started this that whatever comes, you know what I'm saying, the fat boy's not gonna break up.
no matter what.
No
right?
matter what, right?
But are you telling me they come with 100 milli like you got X Lee? You gonna look at me like, hey man, I gotta feed my kids? Like,
Nah, see what I would do is I would say, yo, Lee, they came to me and said, I got an X Lee. What do you think I should do?
if you tell me they tell you $100 million,
You gonna say X me.
nigga, get rid of me.
Exactly.
But throw me 20.
That's not the fat boys breaking up. You
No,
feel me?
that's we the locks.
Right. So that's how I would handle that situation. But are we leaving that conversation without me taking the 100 mil? No, we're not. I'm definitely telling you, like, yo, listen, the 100 mil is getting got.
No,
we could start another podcast,
we
brother.
can do whatever. We talked about this last week. The goal of all of this is to build wealth.
Exactly. So, and I think that's important too, to know what the goal is, because people get caught up in, what's mine, what's yours, but none of that has anything to do with the goal. You know what I'm saying? You can own 100% of nothing, or you can own 50% of 100 mil. Which one you choose? So
Yeah, that's true. But you got, the discernment with your partner, man. That's important.
I think that's how you should carry. Every situation is different. You got to have those conversations in the beginning, and you just
figure something out.
Just have discernment. Let's move on to our next topic.
Bro, were you shocked that it was this close?
Nah,
I was a little shocked.
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I didn't think it would be in our lifetime.
I definitely didn't think it was going to be in our lifetime.
So if you don't know, by the year 2034, Social Security is done, gone.
What are the changes you think that they made? Something else.
100%. But I think it's going to come with a caveat that people aren't ready for. It's going to be almost like a welfare type thing, not like what Social Security used to be.
Personally, I think Social Security was a scam from the jump.
Well,
but
it was designed to give you some type of retirement. But if you were relying on Social Security for retirement, it says a little or a lot about how you were living your life to begin with. So I think the best way to handle this situation is to be proactive about your own retirement. And it's funny that I'm a financial advisor. I'm not shamelessly plugging here, but I do think that you should be using some of the tools, if not all, at least some of the tools that are available to you. If you have a 9 to 5, I'm sure you have a 401k. I can't tell you how much to put in because that talks about strategy.
You can.
I can't.
I can.
But
max that match out. If they match you, max it. Max it. It is free money
on the table.
If your company matches you, max it out. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
Actually, max out all your retirement accounts. Just be real.
Yeah.
Especially with Social Security.
Keep speaking for me.
Going bankrupt in 15 years.
Yo, just take
11 years. Excuse me.
Just take a moment and think about that. Social Security is pretty much going bankrupt, right?
In 11 years, we will be 45 years old.
So how is this happening? Is it because of the baby boomers retiring, which is the largest generation, they eating away at it? Is it because less people are making less? Is it because, like, what's the reason why Social Security is
gone bankrupt. And if you dig deep into that, I haven't, but if you dig deep into that, I think that'll tell you about the direction of this country.
You know what I think?
I want to hear it.
I think we was doomed from the jump.
Oh, we was.
I think that by design, Social Security wasn't going to be able to sustain itself.
At all.
I think that all of this is the fall of the old regime of finance in America.
From the industrial
Revolution to tech.
Yeah.
Right. So I think everything is getting ready to be restructured and repositioned, from the technology we use to human interaction to the financial sector and what fintech is bringing and what AI is bringing. I just think that all of this is just the fall of analog. We're going completely digital to artificial.
Yeah, I agree. And in a way, I 100% agree with you, but in a way, I think it also takes us back to the Industrial Revolution as well.
Well, it's a new version.
But it's a new revolution, but it's the same.
So remember, like
principles.
we talked about, like coal mine cities.
Right.
We're gonna have data centers.
Yes. And look, so let's do some comparisons. So coal mine cities, you got workers that obviously the city is built off of coal miners, blah blah blah. Data cities, the city is built off of people who work for these data companies or these tech companies, right? But that brings back a need for the people who do trades.
Yeah, facts. But here's the thing: they're putting the trades in the hands of robots.
I don't agree. I think they're putting the.
You're gonna have a robot in here fixing it. It's gonna happen.
I don't agree.
You might not let it happen.
I don't agree. I think not in our lifetime. What I would say is I'm glad we're having this conversation. I think that we're having where those humans want to go, those upper echelon humans, Elon Musk, whoever's building these AIs, Bill Gates and such, where they want to go is to take care of the mundane task.
But that is what makes us human, is doing the mundane task. Like think about this, right? You're gonna have, instead of having car mechanics, you're gonna have
factories,
android mechanics. Like they're gonna be people whose job it is to work on the android that does the training.
Yes.
Like an iRobot.
Yeah. Now that I could see, because it's a machine to machine. And as take Tesla, for example, as the cars get smarter, it'll be able to communicate with the.
You're talking about these machines talking to each other.
I mean, it's the only way. It's the only way any.
It's over after that.
Bro, it's happening now.
It's over. It's over when Dolly and Siri start talking to each other.
So speaking of,
or Siri and Alexa start talking to each other.
Did you know that Microsoft is creating they're enhancing their Microsoft 365 platform?
Yes. I was actually very, very
impressed.
Very impressed.
So for those of you who don't know, Microsoft Suites is taking AI to a whole new level. Yeah. So if you don't know, Microsoft Suites consist of PowerPoint, Word, Excel, Office, Notes, Teams, yada yada, right? What it's going to do is take ChatGPT, DALL-E, and the other AI companies that they have in their conglomerate, and actually do the work for you. So if someone sends you an email, Outlook will automatically have a response generated that you can approve. And if it has any task in there, it'll take the task out and maybe put it in OneNote. Or if it has any data in there, it'll take the data out and organize it for you in Excel.
And if you have to do a presentation off of that data, it'll create, in the span of a few maybe hours, it'll create a presentation for you that you could then use to do the presentation, right? Now, all of this, I just named about 3 or 4, maybe 3 to 5 jobs, and in a span of over maybe a week, and maybe a few hours, AI took away all those jobs, completed all those tasks, and condensed the time down.
Which is why Microsoft lays off 25% of their workforce.
Yeah, but I think that's it sounds vulgar to say, but I think that's progressive.
Yes, it's progressive for a new revolution.
Yes.
In order for another way inflation goes down, bring it full circle.
As if people get laid off.
People get laid off and they don't got no money.
So in other words, you either get right or get left. Because we talk about it once a week. AI is coming. And you know what? I think I'm gonna make an AI segment. So every week I'll give you what's new in AI. But this is the newest piece that I've seen, and I think it's going to be very. As an entrepreneur, like I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic because this is way less work, way less things that I have to pay someone, way less time that I have to spend doing this. I can have it on autopilot. Man, that's almost like it's a robot virtual assistant.
Bruh.
It's amazing.
Bruh.
And I'll leave it at that.
Disclaimer: the information provided on this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional financial advice. Investing involves risk, and you should always do your own research and seek the advice of a licensed financial advisor before making any investment decision. The speakers do not guarantee the accuracy, completeness, timeliness, or reliability of any information discussed on this podcast. You agree that the speakers will not be liable for any investment decisions made based off the information provided on this podcast.